Good morning, friends. This is the final vlog for Summerween. I can't believe it. I feel like I still have so many things that I want to read, but the goal for this vlog is to read 2 books. This morning I just dropped Liam off at his summer camp and I'm gonna go for a hike. I'm gonna do like a good couple hours in the woods. Since this is based in the woods, I think it'll be spooky. I'm gonna put on the audiobook, which I just found out is on Libro FM as like their influencer program. It's one of the free options, so that's pretty cool. I tested out a little bit of it on the drive and I do like it, and I like it at I think just 2 times speed, so I should be able to get 4 hours into the, what is it, 9.5 hour audiobook. This is about a woman who works at, I forget what it is. Is it an inn? Is it a hotel? What do they call it? A cozy resort nestled in the mountains, North Carolina. Tourists come to hike the trail and sometimes people disappear. There's one person who just disappeared recently, a couple months ago, named Landon. He was a journalist investigating the disappearances on the trail. So I'm sure the theory is that like someone found out he was investigating, didn't want him to know the truth. And then I kind of hate when books become like a big conspiracy, or like there's a huge group of people at the heart of it who are just like constantly kidnapping people. I'm hoping that's not the direction it goes. It's usually not in a Megan Miranda. There usually is like 1, maybe 2 culprits. And there's also usually a couple like twists that aren't with the main plot, but like side things that I always enjoy finding out about. So at this point in the story, we're following somebody who knows the guy who disappeared, and he's coming to stay at the resort too, and he's gonna like do his own kind of investigation. But we're from the perspective of somebody who works at the resort. This is actually the trail that I would walk with my mom when I was like a week overdue pregnant with Liam. We would just come here for hours and just walk. It didn't work. I had to eventually get induced. But there are a lot of memories in this park. I haven't checked in with you all day. It's so late. Well, it's not so late, but it's 2:30. And I basically have just been editing all day and reading my book in between, like moments where I need to get away from my computer and sit on the couch, or I tried walking on the treadmill for a minute while reading. That didn't work. What do I need to update you on? My walk went really well. I got to, I think, 20% by the end of it. Now I'm almost at 50%. I just had to pause because I have to leave to pick up my dad and to pick up Liam. And I noticed that like 3 pages from now, it says part 3. And like, that means there's probably a reveal right at the end of part 2 that I'm just about to get to. But now it's gonna be a couple more hours until I come back. I made myself this really delicious thing I saw on TikTok. Basically, you make this tomato and peach quote-unquote salsa with some mint in it, and then you put it on a rice cake with burrata and a little bit of olive oil, and it was like one of my favorite things that I've ever eaten as far as like rice cake combinations go, because I live and die for rice cakes. The recipe I saw suggested sun-dried tomato rice cakes, but I love my everything ones. Anyway, highly recommend. My video is done. It is currently uploading. I have some laundry going. I showered. Hooray. But I feel like I look like trash because I haven't had time to actually do my hair, so it's just been air drying and I don't like it. I feel like there haven't been any like incredible developments at this point, but that might change 3 pages from now, so I don't even know what to update you on. I love this small town isolated setting where like everybody knows everybody, and Megan Miranda often has like a new person to the group. That's who we're following. But the girl in here, she is a part of the community, has always been a part of the community, and that means that everybody is going to protect each other's secrets. So she does seem like there's something going on from her past that she's not telling us about, but there like is a reason she doesn't want people to look into these disappearances. Not in the way that I think she's going to be a villain or know everything that's going on, but I just think that she doesn't want anybody spending too much time in this small town, because they'll find out more things probably that she doesn't want people to know about her or her family or the town or something. Beyond that, we're just hiking around. We're just looking at evidence from these disappearances, finding out who was finding out about the disappearances before they themselves disappeared. It's interesting. I'm not fully engaged yet, but I'm nowhere close to DNFing it. I have DNF'd Megan Miranda's in the past, so like I know when her book is not going to be for me and when it is going to be for me. And I think this one could be good. I want to see where it's going. I want to keep reading, but alas, real life beckons. Apparently real life's gonna have to wait because I just got a package before I leave, before I'm leaving. Are you allowed to see this? Oh, wow. This is bigger than I thought. This does spoil, well, now it spoils it because I told you it spoils it. This is for an upcoming vlog. I don't know why I just thought all of Sarah Grand's books were gonna be tiny little paperbacks. I'm not gonna tell you what this is about because I'm sure it'll be in an upcoming haul very soon and an entire dedicated video. So I just realized I'm gonna get to listen to the audiobook for my half-hour drive. So while I won't be vlogging in front of my father, maybe I'll just show you I'll give you a facial expression that depicts my feelings about the twist or the reveal, if there is one, at the end of part 2. And I'm back, hair a little drier. I have about 120 pages to go and it's going really well. It's so interesting because we're following like different disappearances. So each part will introduce like the mystery that we're following. It's all in the same timeline and it's all about like the same girl, Abby, working at this inn. And she doesn't solve like the mystery at the end of every part or anything like that, but each mystery is the focus of that part. And all of it, when you connect it, is going to lead to like find out the truth. And I'm sure because mysteries these days need to like keep things interesting and exciting and can't just have one reveal, there will be like multiple answers to all of the different questions we have, but looking into each disappearance gives her clues to connect everything together and get closer to the mystery that they're currently solving, which is the most recent man who's disappeared. I'm just gonna lock myself in the bedroom for the next hour and a half and run through this so I can also make sure that we watch Scream 4 tonight. I should have seen that coming, but I didn't. Wow, part 5. What a twist. I finished my book just in time for another beautiful 9 p.m. sunset. Someone commented in my last video, they were like, why is it so bright? It's so late. Anyway, I just walked out. Oh, that's too close. I walked out and Rob's watching me, my video. How beautiful and kind. And Liam's screaming. There's a lot going on. But Rob and I have a movie date at 9 p.m. to watch Scream 4, and I finished this right on time. And I'm giving this 4 stars. I thought it was really good. It's in my top half of Megan Miranda's books. And this is one of those books that, well, first of all, it's one of those books that I'm going to constantly refer to as a thriller, but it's a mystery. I always say mystery thriller books. This is a mystery. Somebody call me out if I ever call most of Megan Miranda's stuff thrillers. But this is the kind of book that you could read and like predict who done it. Like if you want to play a game with this and like write out all the characters and try to predict how everything's connected, how all the disappearances are connected, how each person in the town is connected to a disappearance, like you could do that and it would be really fun to find out if you're right by the end. So if you're that kind of reader, I would highly recommend it. It's definitely a slower moving plot. Like there's a lot of atmosphere and kind of repetitive descriptions, which like I didn't mind at all. It does take a while for things to ramp up, but I don't know, we were constantly learning things. It was interesting. I just took a look at its Goodreads and I think I'm trying to like combat the other reviews, which is so wrong of me. Or not combat them, but like highlight what their issues were, even though they weren't my issues. Like some people are saying it's too slow. Some people were saying it's too descriptive. And I see that, but I didn't feel that way. There were some surprising reveals. There was some not so surprising reveals that if I had paid closer attention, I probably could have figured out. There's enough characters and everybody feels so distinct that that keeps it interesting. I'm gonna go and I'll let you know in the morning how our movie went. I really wanted to go to the drive-in this week because Top Gun is playing and this is like the last day that Top Gun is playing, but this is what 9 p.m. looks like. And so that movie doesn't start until 11. And I just can't do that, you know? Because then we wouldn't get home until like 2 a.m. Anyway, I really want to go to the drive-in. Someone remind me later in summer that I really wanted to go to the drive-in and make sure I go at some point. Okay, thanks.
Congratulations, Sydney. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I really didn't get one.
I'm so devastated. It's the last day of Summerween. This is my last time saying good morning. Happy Summerween. Day 7. It's been such a good readathon for me so far. I've had a lot of wins. I've read a lot of things, and a lot of them, most of them, have been great. And I'm really hoping that that's also true with the final book of the readathon, which is my most anticipated read of the readathon. It's one of my most anticipated reads of the entire year. I just have such a good feeling about this in spite of multiple people DNFing this and giving it 2 stars this week. So like I'm going in, I guess, a little bit apprehensive, but I don't know, I just feel like it's gonna be a favorite book. I don't know why. I do know why. It's about a spooky house. It's by Sarah Gailey. I read the first chapter, and the descriptions, the thorough descriptions, is just, it's so for me. Like I'm an atmosphere girl first, then a character girl, writing, plot, and then whatever other people care about when they're reading books. Like character development, who cares? Pace, whatever. World building, don't care. Obviously depends on the genre we're in. Like I don't need world building in here. I need house building. I need to understand every element of this house. And that's what I'm getting. The first chapter is her describing like the porch and the feelings that the house gives her, all before she's even turned the doorknob. I have no plans today except this book, and I'm doing a full spoiler vlog for my channel members, but I'm going to check in with you here every 100 pages. That's my plan. And that actually gets us to 10 chapters in. So I'll see you in a sec. Oh, actually, before I start reading, I need to update you that I am so embarrassed that I even spoke the words out loud. Like, I think maybe I haven't seen Scream 4. Bitch, I've seen Scream 4. If I had like spent 1 single second actually thinking about it, looking up the trailer, looking up the cast, literally like the poster, anything, I would have been like, oh yeah, that's the one that opens with that like ridiculous fun opening where we have like Lucy Hale, Shanae Grimes, and Kristen Bell, and Amy Teagarden, and Britt Robertson, and it's like the funnest opening. Liam actually watched that part with us last night, and it was very funny. It's also got like Emma Roberts and who else am I thinking of? Hayden Panettiere, and it was so fun. So I think right now my ranking goes 2, 1, 4, 3, I guess. Though like 4 was so fun that I want to bump it up, but I feel like I can't put it above 1. And since I've put 2 above 1, like I can't go back on it now. So anyway, we're going to watch Scream 5 tonight, which I guarantee we haven't seen. And I just love how meta the Scream movies are and how they reference themselves and each other, and they like critique an entire genre. God, they're just so good. All right, I made it to 100 pages. It's definitely a slow moving plot, but with absolutely beautiful language. I'm really glad that I'm doing this video because I get to talk through all of my favorite quotes and all of my theories, because here I'm really gonna struggle with even telling you what this book is about, because right now it is just 80% such visceral descriptions of everything our character is feeling, thinking, looking at, and we're getting a little bit of flashbacks to her childhood and her father. So we know that he is a killer. He's killed people and like hid them in the house, and we know that her father is like kind of notorious, so it impacts her entire life. Every person she meets, every situation she's in, it's like, do these people know who I am? Once they find out who I am, they treat me differently. It really colors people's perception of her knowing who her father is. Or in some cases, they want to take advantage of her because they want to come to the house. And that's actually similar to the Megan Miranda I just read, when there's a location that invites a lot of intrigue and people come there specifically to like get closer to a mystery or solve a mystery themselves, or they're just like fascinated by a terrible person or the terrible things a person has done. And I think it makes for an interesting story. I can't relate to it because like I do not consume true crime in any capacity. Never have, never will. I mean, I guess I did read that one Dead Mountain story once that I do find very interesting, the Dyatlov Pass, but I don't know if that's what you'd call like true crime. I think I understand people who are fascinated by it though. So when you see those characters in books, it feels very authentic, even though the story and the crime and the mystery is fictional. So like the couple mysteries in here are like what her father really did, like is it as straightforward as we think it is? If she had anything to do with it, because like she's a little like she's holding something back, but we don't really know what it is. There's also a mystery of like why her mother's dying, and there's a mystery of her finding notes around the house in her father's handwriting, but there's a person who's staying on the property who was like obsessed with what her father did, but the artist is taking advantage of the situation by staying on the property. Her mother is allowing it, and as a reader I'm wondering like why he's there, what he's going to accomplish, is he writing these notes, etc. And like what's going to happen at the end of this? Is her mother going to die? Are we going to get answers? Like what reveals are we going to have? What type of horror can we even categorize this as at the end? And is categorizing a certain way going to spoil how the story goes? So I think it's going to get harder to talk about as I go, but I know there's like a reveal that people are very divided on. So I can't wait to get to that part. And I'll see you again in another 100 pages. I made it through another 100 pages. It's taken me quite a while. I feel like this is a very slow moving book that isn't really conducive to a one-day read. Even though the timeline of the book itself is so short, we're not getting a lot of answers for things. There's just constantly stacking like mysteries. And I feel like there's not going to be like a reveal, a payoff until way further in the book. So I just don't feel super motivated to be reading it. The boys are actually on their way home right now and I'm just starting dinner, so I might not finish this for a good couple more hours, just reading here and there throughout the evening. I don't feel like Sarah Gailey's brand of horror really gets scary, but like I desperately want it to. I finally made it to 300 pages and I don't know what this book is about. And by that, I don't mean it's not making sense. It seems like a really clear-cut story at this point. And like stories that I've kind of read before. As far as the horror goes, I feel like I get it. But knowing Sarah Gailey, and especially having read like The Echo Wife, and loving The Echo Wife, I know that I don't know everything. And that's what's making me feel like uneasy and unsettled. The book itself isn't that unsettling. It's the not telling me everything yet and having to wait for this payoff that I assume is coming in the last 40 pages. It's a lot. These last 40 pages could literally make this a 5-star or a 2-star for me. There's a lot of nothing happening and I am okay with it because the writing's so beautiful. But I'm telling you, the next clip you see from me better be me shocked Pikachu face, otherwise I don't know what I'm doing this for. Well, this isn't the place that I thought I would leave this vlog or this readathon. This was a 2-star for me overall, and looking through the Goodreads, everybody else who gave this 2 stars use really similar language when describing why they didn't like it. And one of those words is bizarre. And like, bizarre is my buzzword. And I needed it to be more so for longer. I think some people were expecting like a standard mystery thriller, which is like, oh my god, considering how this ended. And I do understand the people who like the ending. I understand the people who hate the ending. I needed it to commit to that ending for longer than just a short reveal at the end of the book. Like if it was gonna be that, it needed to be that for a while for me to love it. I read a really similar book kind of recently and gave it a really similar rating. On paper, this premise is totally for me. The writing was completely for me for at least the first quarter. And then I just feel like it wasn't really the same, but I was hoping it would come back to what I loved about it. But just the follow through, no, characters were completely underutilized. I think, again, the people who went into it looking for a certain thing, I understand them saying like it was grotesque and it made them feel sick. But for me and what I was looking for with this type of story and the direction I thought it was going, I thought it would be way spookier, way more disturbing. And you know, that's on me for sure. If this was the first time I was reading from this author, I would probably try them out again because I see what they're going for, but it was not quite worth the time investment for me, unfortunately. But it's interesting looking at the ratings and seeing the people who are giving this 5 stars, and they are typically like the bookstagrammers and booktubers who, when I give something 5 stars, they're like 1 star. Like, what are you talking about? Trash. I'm sad. I'm so sad I struggled through this. I would watch it as a movie though if it was adapted, because I think the visuals would be very interesting. And Sarah Gailey's descriptions, totally for me, just not the plot. Maybe if it was half the length, maybe if it was twice the length. I don't know how this could have worked for me, but it's so beautiful. I hate that I didn't like it. Like, I want to put this in every recommendation stack I ever make. I wish that I could say I'm going to be promoting this forever and ever because it is so stunning and sounds like something that would be up my alley. I'm gonna go watch Scream. Hopefully that's not a flop and my night can still turn around. Where does that rank for you in the franchise?
Actually pretty high.
Really?
Story-wise not good, but the action was a lot better. It was choreographed a lot better and it was a lot more violent.
What's yours in order?
I think 2, 1, 5, 4, 3.
2, 1, 4, 5, 3 for me. Good night, goodbye, and good luck with your lives. I'm sure if you watched this video to the very end, up until this point, you've watched all of my videos this week, so I don't need to do like a wrap up, but I will because I like the feeling of completion. So overall, what happened this week? I read 9 things. I read 2 like pretty standard mystery books that I had a really good time with and gave 4 stars and would recommend. And I'll be reading from both of these authors again. I read 1 thriller that was half thriller, half complex friendship story that I gave 5 stars for ridiculousness. I read 4 novellas, 1 horror that felt like it was written for me and I gave it 5 stars. 1 that was a psychological, slower suspense that was fascinating and I gave 4 stars. And then a short paranormal grief-centric story that I also gave 4 stars. And then the sequel to one of my favorite sci-fi horror novellas that I gave 2 stars. And then speaking of 2 stars, the books that fit most into the horror genre of all the novels that I read were the lowest rated of the week. This one got a 2 and this one got a 3, which isn't the most shocking thing ever if you take into account my history with gothic novels, which is what I think you could like also categorize these as. But overall, I feel really good about my reads. I got to a lot of things I want to read. I hit every single one of my own like categories of the week. I did a couple of the challenges. I don't think I did any of the Instagram challenges, maybe the TBR one, but it was late. Thank you so much to the hosts for putting this together, running it, to all of my friends and fellow booktubers who did reading sprints and posted awesome vlogs throughout the week. I love events like this so much when there's this sense of community and we're all doing something together and interacting so much throughout the week and getting awesome recommendations from each other throughout the week. So I hope this video series of mine offered you something in that regard. Let me know if there's anything in this series of videos that you plan to pick up yourself. And I would really, really love if you've made it all the way to the end, would love to hear your favorite read of the week. What was the best success for you the week of Summerween? From what I was seeing all week, there was a lot of flops. So I hope that a lot of people were reading things were really fantastic and I would love to hear what those were. So I will see you again very soon. Bye.